हेलो
Sir. गुड मॉर्निंग। आपकी आवाज सुनाई नहीं दे रही। अनम्यूट अनम्यूट अनम्यूट। एक मिनट।
Good morning, sir. The sound is coming.
आवाज सुनाई दे रही है सर?
हाँ सर, आपका आवाज सुनाई दे रहा है।
एक मिनट। ओके। हाँ, आपके बात आ रही है।
We can listen you.
यस सर।
Okay, sir. Thank you. Now we are ready.
ओके। I am waiting for participation. Good. Good morning, everybody, ma'am.
good morning just a quick question. When I'll have to share the screen,
Yeah.
then I'll click where, because it does not allow me to share right now, but once I have to share the presentation during my session.
Okay. तो मैं आपको मैडम एक बार इंटरव्यू दे दूंगा, उसके बाद आप शेयर कर सकते हैं अगर
ओके, ठीक है ओके।
ओके मैम। लेट्स सी हाउ मेनी पार्टिसिपेंट जो हैं।
Sir, the video quality is good.
Yes sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning. आपके गुड मॉर्निंग।
गुड मॉर्निंग।
आर्यन आर्यन ने भी ज्वाइन कर लिया है और वर्षी मैडम ने भी ज्वाइन कर लिए हैं और सुस्मिता मैडम ने ज्वाइन कर चुकी है ऑलरेडी। जस्ट 5 मिनट हम वेट कर लेते हैं पार्टिसिपेंट का।
Hi Aryan, good morning. Welcome from India.
सर 5 मिनट वेट कर लेते हैं।
Sure, sure.
एक्चुअली टाइमिंग इज नॉट सभी के लिए मतलब सुटेबल नहीं है सर।
Urvashi ji, good.
Good morning. Again, I'm back again.
Very good, very good. Very good. Subhasmita, good morning. Good morning, Subhasmita. Unmute yourself.
थैंक यू।
Pranam sir, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? कैसे हैं आप?
Sir,
बहुत अच्छा।
yes sir.
उड़ीसा में सर्दी है।
नहीं तो काम है.
कम। Okay. Very good.
जी सर।
मुझे अच्छा okay.
दिल्ली में सर कल भूकंप आया था क्या? गुड़गांव केंद्र था।
छोटे छोटे तो भूकंप आते रहते हैं।
सर स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं?
बिल्कुल स्टार्ट करिए।
तो very good afternoon, good morning to all and every participant who have joined today. The topic of today webinar is climate change, DRR and children unfolding challenges. In present COVID-19 situation and something due to the climate change, extreme weather events, number of natural disaster events happened in India, like flood, cyclone या सुनामी। और ये जो जितने भी डिजास्टर हैं बच्चों को पूरी तरह से इफेक्ट किया है, क्योंकि वनरेबिलिटी बच्चे मोस्ट वनरेबल ग्रुप किसी भी इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन में। तो इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आज का जो टॉपिक है क्लाइमेट चेंज, DRR एंड चिल्ड्रन एंड अनफोल्डिंग चैलेंजेस, काफी रिलेवेंट है। बच्चे के जो स्पेसिफिक रिस्क है वो डिजास्टर सिचुएशन में, खास करके चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग या चाइल्ड एब्यूजिंग या चाइल्ड डिजीज से रिलेटेड जितने भी इशूज हैं, चाहे मिड डे मील से रिलेटेड इशू हो या चाहे माल न्यूट्रिशन से रिलेटेड इशूज है, सारा चीज इंटीग्रेटेड है डिजास्टर से। तो उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आज का जो प्रोग्राम है, जो सामने कहा कि बच्चे को ज्यादा से ज्यादा कैसे पार्टिसिपेट करें डिजास्टर सिचुएशन में, जो कि रिस्क और जो कि स्पेसिफिक रिस्क है वो अपना वो समझे। तो मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द टुडे प्रोग्राम मेक चिल्ड्रन पार्टिसिपेशन मोर इफेक्टिव एंड सस्टेनिंग, क्योंकि अभी जो इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन में ये नीड है कि बच्चे जो आने वाले फ्यूचर जनरेशन का लीडर हैं, उनको अगर हम लोग ट्रेन नहीं करेंगे और उनको आगे नहीं लाएंगे तो जो आने वाले समय में जो फ्यूचर रिस्क है, जो क्लाइमेट चेंज के कारण या ग्लोबल वार्मिंग के कारण जो चेंजेस आ रहे हैं हमारे क्लाइमेट में और उसका इम्पैक्ट पड़ रहा है, उसके हिसाब से अगर कोई मेगा डिजास्टर होता है या किसी तरह का डिजास्टर होता है तो अपने आप को बच्चे कैसे स्किलफुल होकर उसका सामना कर सके और उस रिस्क को समझते हुए उसके प्रिपेयरनेस में पूरी तरह से भाग ले सके। मेरा जो सेंटर है CCDRR सेंटर बेसिकली फोकस करता है बच्चों के साथ और बच्चों के लिए काम करने के लिए। तो उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए जो आज का जो क्लाइमेट चेंज का जो टॉपिक है और उसके इशू चैलेंजेस हैं, उसमें हम लोग ने जो स्पीकर जो हमारे जो है ये दो इमिनेंट स्पीकर हैं। एक है जो यूनिसेफ से जो कि बहुत एक्सपीरियंस 18 ईयर का एक्सपीरियंस है मैडम के पास, उन्होंने क्लाइमेट चेंज और वेरियस इशू पर काम किया है। तो उसके बाद यहाँ पे जो बच्चे का जो इसका मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव जो नेक्स्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव है टू हेल्प चिल्ड्रन गेन नॉलेज एंड स्किल ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज एडेप्टेशन एंड रिस्क प्रिंसिपल टू बी अप्लाइड अप्रोच एंड टूल इन प्रिपेयरनेस प्लानिंग, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लानिंग। तो आज के इस प्रोग्राम को देखते हुए जो कि आज का प्रोग्राम जो NIDM के द्वारा ऑर्गेनाइज CCDRR सेंटर के द्वारा ऑर्गेनाइज किया जा रहा है, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए मैं सर्वप्रथम अपने जो हमारे जो एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर मनोज कुमार मित्तल को धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि जिनके इनिशिएटिव से, जिनके विजनरी आइडिया से ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज के थ्रू बहुत सारे मास ब्रॉडर कम्युनिटी को जोड़ने का मौका मिला और ब्रॉडर कम्युनिटी के साथ लिंक करते हुए आउटसाइड इंडिया भी मैंने साउथ एशियन कंट्री में बात सारे जगहों पर मैंने लोग सारे जगहों से लोग जुड़ रहे हैं इस ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम में, इस लर्निंग को सीखने के लिए। उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए मैं एक प्रोग्राम है जो बहुत रिलेवेंट है। आई ऑल्सो वेलकम टू आवर प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर प्रोफेसर संतोष कुमार सर, जिनके गाइडेंस और जिनके सपोर्ट से इस प्रोग्राम को मुझे आयोजित करने का मौका मिला। आई ऑल्सो वेलकम टू डॉक्टर कुमार राठवा सर, जिन्होंने की बहुत अच्छी तरह से CCDRR सेंटर को नर्चर किया है और उनके गाइडेंस में हम लोग ने बहुत सारे वेबिनार भी किए। तो प्रोफेसर संतोष सर और राका सर के मार्गदर्शन में हम नियर फ्यूचर में और अच्छे से वेबिनार आयोजित कर सकते हैं। और on the behalf of NIDM, I also welcome to all participants and delegates जो कि आज के इस वेबिनार को ज्वाइन किए हैं, उनको मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं। इसके साथ ही आगे की कार्रवाई के लिए मैं प्रोफेसर संतोष सर को हैंड ओवर करता हूं। संतोष सर।
Thank you, Ranjan. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, distinguished panelists. Smita Tripathi, Subhasmita,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aryan Gautam, Shi Chandra, My team, Dr. Raka and Ranjan, Balu, they are organizing this program, and I'm grateful to them and all the distinguished participants who have joined so far. Since this is morning time, winter time, so many may be joining much more, or many more would join in the meantime. But important is that आज हम यहाँ क्यों इकट्ठा हुए हैं, and how we are going to see that how children are taking initiatives on their own, and बच्चों को किस तरह से हम सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं पब्लिक स्पेस में लाने को, पब्लिक पॉलिसी के इनपुट के लिए, प्लस उनके इनिशिएटिव से हम क्या सीख सकते हैं. Many a times what we see that we know everything and children are just vulnerable group, but that is not the case. In many of the disaster we have seen that children are also contributing leadership role, and especially when it comes to the environment and disaster. So their contribution cannot be ignored. At the time of COVID-19, children are getting affected differently. Schools are closed, and many children who are not able to go to their school in terms of they're not admitted at all because of poverty, inequality. They have their own problems. And here, when we see Delhi all around, we see that pollution level is very high. When we look at the forest and the trees, then we see that the trees are cut on a regular basis, and the impact is coming as a kind of a climate change which we see. Many carbon emissions things are going on. We have a very old technology to perform, and consequences are many. हम लोग उससे बहुत बुरी तरह से प्रभावित हो रहे हैं, कभी बाढ़ के रूप में, कभी चक्रवात के रूप में, कभी में, और कभी हीट वेव के रूप में, कभी कोल्ड वेव के रूप में. कुछ ना हमें एंथ्रोपोजेनिक जो हम लोग आदमी की अपनी जो ह्यूमन इंड्यूस्ड एक्टिविटीज हैं, उनसे बहुत सारी चीजें हो रही है. तो आज वी वांटेड टू लिसन टू आवर दैट हाउ दे कैन गाइड अस, what they have been able to do. Yesterday I was attending one program which was dedicated to Asia Pacific children from the Asia Pacific countries. I could listen three presentations from Korea and another from Indonesia. All youngsters, and the kind of work they are doing, it was very, very kind of heartening to know that that many a times which we see that we know everything, but the kind of initiative they have taken is they are much ahead than what we think. तो आज ये देखते हैं कि हमारे बच्चे किस तरह से इन लोगों जो क्लाइमेट से रिलेटेड जो इश्यूज हैं, आज का जो विषय है, हाउ दे हैव बीन एबल टू टेक ऑन. So I would request Ranjan to first introduce the speakers, all the three speakers, a representative from UNICEF also. Urvashi ji is there, and then Subhasmita is there, Aryan is there. So give detailed introduction. First invite Aryan, Subhasmita, and then Urvashi ji will give a overall. After listening to them, she will give overall context. Then I will say at the end something.
So thank you, sir, for insightful vision regarding to today program. And first of all, मैं आर्यन गौतम के जो ब्रीफ प्रोफाइल है उसके बारे में बताना चाहता हूँ अपनी पार्टिसिपेंट को. Aryan Gautam, 14-year-old environmental activist Aryan Gautam, working in the Save the Planet open doors. One of his priority to encourage and input in the environment activity. He is the youngest Canada youngest founder and director of federally incorporated environment and profit organization Save the Planet Open Door. And one of his priorities is to encourage and include youth in his environmental activity. तो आर्यन गौतम है जो वेरी अर्ली स्टेज है, बहुत अच्छा काम किया है इन्वायरमेंट के लिए। इन्होंने इन्वायरमेंट के एक्टिविटी के लिए बच्चों को कैसे पार्टिसिपेशन कराएंगे, इनका मेन प्रायोरिटी है कि यूथ को इनकरेज करना, यूथ को मतलब पार्टिसिपेशन को बढ़ावा देने के लिए इन्होंने कनाडा में एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो सेव द प्लेनेट है उसके एज ए डायरेक्टर, एज ए फाउंडर मेंबर के होते हुए इन्होंने ये काम किया है। तो मैं उनके एक्सपीरियंस को आज के इस वेबिनार में सुनेंगे कि किस तरह से उन्होंने यूथ को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए काम किया है। तो आई रिक्वेस्ट टू आर्यन गौतम फॉर टुडे फॉर डिस्कशन।
Hanji, could you give me the share capabilities? Because I can't share the content right now.
Okay, I give a presenter role to you. Yes. Okay.
Welcome, Aryan.
Thank you very much. So I hope you can see it now.
Yes, we can see it.
Hanji,
Full screen
one
कर लो.
second.
Full screen mode में.
It is
sorry?
Okay.
It is
Okay.
good.
Okay. Aryan.
Hello everyone. Good morning to you all. It's actually night for me here, but I wish you all good morning. I would really like to thank you all for the opportunity and the honorable platform to unfold my experiences and involvements in climate change, adaptation measures, and mitigating environmental hazards. And I would really like to thank Professor Santosh Kumar and Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal for the opportunity to share my work as well as my thoughts. Before I begin, I would just like to say that I'm very impressed and amazed to see the Indian government's participation and involvement in the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction. And above that, I'm even happier that children and from around the world are taking this initiative seriously and are becoming more and more involved. So here you can see that these are a few people that that have supported my organization over the past few years, and I really like to offer my thanks to them as well. So I'd like to talk a little bit about myself. So as you heard, I'm Aryan Gautam. I'm 14 years old and I'm going to grade 9 currently. As Canada's youngest founder and director of a federally incorporated environmental nonprofit organization, which is called Save the Planet Open Doors, one of my priorities is to engage and encourage youth in environmental activities. So we hear everywhere, the climate is changing, and if we don't take action right now, our planet will be ruined beyond repair. As a 9-year-old, hearing this opened my eyes. I immediately started taking personal measures like planting trees in my household or recycling waste, but it was clear to me that I had to do something on a bigger scale with more people involved. And that's the moment I started working on my organization. Not long after, I heard a wonderful saying of indigenous origin. We are borrowing our land from our grandchildren, and thus we must preserve it. This saying inspired me and drove me to prioritize youth inclusion and encouragement in my initiatives using social media. For the past 2 years, I've had a campaign where I collect cans and bottles and set a count. Last year, I collected more than 500 cans weighing about 10 kilograms. And this year, I collected more than 900 cans weighing about 20 kilograms. In total, Save the Planet Open Doors has cleaned over 700 pounds of garbage from the streets and parks of Ontario with our various cleanups and campaigns, which have been covered by many magazines and news channels. And you could see it on the slide right there, actually. Lately, I've launched Project Butternut Restoration, which is aimed at diversifying and restoring butternut trees, which is one of the 2 native walnut tree species in Canada, and it's on the Endangered Species Act. And my secondary or even bigger initiative is called HEER, which is Housing Energy Efficiency Rating, and it aims to tackle climate change by adding a metric of eco-efficiency to real estate listings and affecting over 14 million people at launch. I would just like to say that I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to work with so many inspiring people and organizations over the past few years. As you saw on the first page, there was someone called Barry Gilbert, and through my involvement as a youth representative to him, I've gained a lot of experience because he's an Indigenous elder and representative, and he's the president of 2 Indigenous organizations. And for anyone who didn't know, Indigenous is basically the natives of our land. I've had the opportunity to grow a greater perspective on these communities in Ontario, and I'm really thankful for that. Also, you can see that I received 2 letters of appreciation from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who is the Prime Minister of Canada, and I've also gotten a Community Leadership Award from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and a local member of Parliament. So I would just like to briefly talk about the climate change's impact on Canada. Now, of course, I'm in Canada and many of you are in India. But since my field of work is here, I'd like to kind of give you a little bit on background on how climate change is affecting life here in Canada. So around the world, there's a scientific consensus that our climate is changing. And this is signaled by, various events like rising, increased precipitation, and an increase in the frequency of extreme weather events and natural disasters. A recent report from the Environment and Climate Change Canada, Fisheries and Oceans Canada, and the Natural Resources Canada notes that Canada is warming at 2 times the rate as the rest of the world. And basically that means that, every year our climate is warming up 2 times as much as the rest of the world. More than half of the world's carbon emissions originate in cities and urban areas, which are facing the increasing costs of adapting to the impacts of climate change, which means that a lot of countries, societies, continents are facing issues with climate change because they don't have the wealth to invest in climate change possibilities. The city of Mississauga, which is where I am, by the way, I'm in Mississauga, Ontario, in Canada. We'll already begin to feel the impacts of climate change, including increased seasonal flooding, extreme rainfall, ice storms, and some of the hottest summers on record. And if any of you know the stereotype, we Canadians live in igloos, so if our homes are melting, that's not good. By 2050, Mississauga is expected to be hotter at all times of the year, with changes to seasonal precipitation patterns, more rainstorms, and more heat waves. Winter, spring, and fall will likely be wetter, while summer will be hotter and drier on average, with an increase in storm activity. Now, for anyone living in Canada, this would seem really, really scary because this is the opposite of a lot of what we're facing right now. And that's another one of the encouraging points that drives me to work on the environment. I would like to introduce you to Project Butternut Reforestation. So like I said before, the butternut is one of 2 walnut tree species native to Canada. These trees are medicinal and were used by the Indigenous communities or Native communities, as I said, in Canada. And that makes them very, very important to not only Canadian history, but also Indigenous Canadian history. While doing research on this tree, I realized that unfortunately, this tree is endangered. And that idea sparked in my head, and voila, this project is live now. So what this project aims to do is revive, reforest, and replenish the butternut trees around the Jim Tovey Conservation Area. And basically what that is a area not too far away from me, which is a beautiful lake, a lot of landmarks, a lot of ecosystems, a lot of wildlife. And I think that it's a really good idea to put these trees here, as that's where they were before. Now let's talk about some of the goals of Project Butternut Reforestation, just to kind of share with you. For the short term, I plan to work with the city of Mississauga and the government of Mississauga to establish a suitable location for the tree. Excuse me. So basically, we have to pick a location within the conservation area. I'm just going to drink some water. Within the conservation area that is suitable enough for these trees and has fertile enough soil and everything's perfect. I would like to source these trees for a proper implementation, and I would like to work with the conservation area to monitor and maintain these trees. For my midterm, I would like to work with the provincial government to plant and maintain more canker-free butternut trees to province-wide parks, recreation, and conservation areas. What I mean by that is basically areas across Ontario, which is my province, or as you would say in the United States, state. I would like to, meanwhile, also work with Indigenous communities to also work on this project. For the long term, I would like to work with the federal government. Excuse me, my throat's just a little dry. For the long term, I would like to work with the federal government to plant more canker-free butternut trees countrywide. And of course, whilst doing this, I would also work with Indigenous communities across Canada to plant these trees. I would continue to monitor these trees as well. Now, this is a very important initiative to me because this is Project HEER, or a Housing Energy Efficiency Rating. My organization is committed to decreasing our carbon footprint and preparing the community for its effects. We would like to create a low carbon and resilient planet Earth, and this initiative is a huge step towards that. Just at launch, which is basically when it's implemented, it'll be affecting over 14 million people across our province. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but why is real estate, important? I'm always thinking of new ways to improve our environment from different, departments. And one where, improvement is possible is real estate. You may not know this, but 10.9% of Canadian carbon emissions are coming from residential homes. And that's a big part of it. And if we could improve that, it would be making a big impact. You might be thinking, why HEER? What does it do? And why is it important in our society? HEER is basically kind of a rating that would give you a specific but not too specific idea on how environmentally friendly the home is. And if you're thinking of why this is important for people in Canada and eventually, hopefully, the world, HEER will encourage people to upgrade their homes for the benefit of the environment, because after all, a better rating means a better selling price. It will motivate real estate buyers to cherry pick properties with higher efficiency ratings for lower bills and higher resale values. Now, what that basically means is that they want to upgrade their homes and make them more environmentally friendly, because a better rating means that they're going to get a better selling price and they'll sell their home for a higher price. Now, let's talk about some of the goals for this project. So, obviously we want to protect and improve the environment, and that's what this project relies to do. But I have two main goals for this project, and they're split into these two different categories. Firstly, I have mitigation, which is basically the main idea of this initiative, which is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions significantly by 2030. But secondly, which a lot of us may not think about, is adaptation, which basically means increasing the awareness and involvement of this in the real estate sector, and generally we can educate people on how our environmental situation is and what we need to do to improve it. Now, action pathways is what we're hoping to kind of achieve with this in the final, and split into different categories. So firstly, we want buildings and clean energy. We want resilient and green infrastructure, and natural disasters can go as part of this one, because a greener and more resilient infrastructure will also mean more resistance to natural disasters. Accelerating discovery and innovation. People may become inspired by this and wish to go on a venture of their own to save the environment. Engagement and partnerships. Now, a big part of this is jobs, because the more people are looking for renovations and environmentally friendly renovations, the more jobs are created in this field. And of course, the involvement of the general population, and specifically youth. It is very important that youth are part of this, because that's why we're having this webinar. We want to include youth, and we want to talk about how we can support youth. So it's important that we have as part of this how we can involve not just the general public, but also youth. How much of a difference to the environment can this make? Now, obviously, I'm not going to read all of this, but I can just tell you a few of the numbers. And as you can see here, between 13 and 17%, 13 and 27% of homeowners conducted energy efficiency improvements or more improvements than originally planned when they were put with a rating called HERD. And this is a similar rating to what I thought of, but it's a little bit more. I would say it's not as specific. Homeowners can save up to 20% of their energy bills with proper attic insulation, and I'll give you an example of that in just a second. By using energy efficient appliances, households can save up to $400 per year on utility bills. You can think about that, $400 by changing your appliances. That speaks for itself, not just the selling price. LED lights use between 80 to 85% less um, energy and they're more energy efficient. So you can think about all the lights around you, all the lights in your home, and how much of a positive difference it could make if all of them were LED. Solar technology capacity currently installed across the US is expected to counterbalance as much as 16.8 million metric tons of carbon dioxide per year. Simply put, we won't reach our 2030 environmental targets without HEER. Now, as you look at this little diagram or infograph about how much money you could save by implementing these factors, which would also give you kind of a perspective of how much of an impact to the environment you're making, I'd just like to run by you an example. A lot of attics aren't properly insulated, and for anyone that didn't know, an attic is basically the area above your ceiling and below your roof. If your attic was insulated incorrectly, cold or hot air would be seeping into your home, and that's forcing your air conditioning system or heating system to work harder to properly heat or cool your home. If you properly insulated this, which means that more additional air isn't coming in and your system can work at a regular rate, you can save up to $400 annually. To think about this in the environment in a much more widespread situation, if we were to improve this situation worldwide, we could stop over 4.26 million tons of carbon emissions from entering our atmosphere. Now think about the fact that this is just one of the many factors that HEER will be simultaneously improving. Imagine how much of a difference this rating will make when all of its factors are mitigated, when the homeowner is changing all of the factors included in the checklist. It would be a massive difference. I would just like to talk a little bit about how and why you should get involved in a good cause, and especially the environment. Now, let's talk about the why first. Of course, the first thing I'm going to say is our climate situation needs to be improved. Everyone needs to work towards the environment. Everyone needs to, start working towards the environment, need to start doing park cleanup, start changing their lives just a little bit to make a big difference. And that's why you should get involved. You should become an activist. You should work towards a good cause. And like I said, especially the environment. Now, if you're younger, you will get an early glimpse of your future, and this can help you explore many career options out there. When you're working with so many different people in this field, when you're talking to them, when you're conversing with them, when you're doing work with them, you're going to get an idea of how this line of work, how it works. And with that, you can decide whether you want to do it, whether you don't want to do it. And it will basically give you the option to explore the many career options out there. But above that, when you get there, when you do eventually decide your line of work, and when you get there, you'll know what to do and you'll be that much better at it. And that's actually the next point, which is it'll give you the chance to gain work experience and understand how it works. Now, one of the biggest factors here is inspiration. You will be inspiring others. When you get up there, when you do work, and when you tell people about it, you're inspiring them. And they'll think of, doing the same thing with another cause, or maybe the same cause. They'll think of joining your cause. It doesn't matter what age they could be younger than you, but all we need is that they're inspired by you and they work towards a better environment, and you could be the cause of that. Together we can build a worldwide network of youth leaders, and it all starts with you. You have to work towards it, and if you do it, everyone will do it, and all together we'll build a network. Now let's get to the how. So one of the one of the biggest things you can do is start to do community work, and it can start very small. Like I said, I started by just doing household work. I started by planting trees, recycling more, just collecting stuff when I'm going out on a walk, and that's how you can start. Now, of course, I understand COVID-19 puts us in a difficult position, but even now, we can start to make our daily lives more environmentally friendly. Just go around and look at the small stuff you can change, because believe me, it will make a big difference. You can even start to develop your progress into a sort of a campaign like I did. I was just collecting cans around for my neighborhood, and like I said, I started a campaign, and now I've collected over, I think it was 1,500 cans, and that's about 30 kilograms. So you can make a big difference. You can inspire others. You can just start small and work your way up there. Keep thinking of new innovative ideas and campaigns and initiatives. You have to keep thinking about what you can do. You have to look around you and say, I can improve that. I can improve that. You have to think about it and say, what can I do here that can help the environment? And you have to actually work to make it a reality. You have to think about how you can implement that successfully and effectively. And you have to work with others to get that implemented, get that as part of your daily life. And that will make a bigger difference than you'll ever see because it'll be affecting so many more people. And of course, if you think of something effective, like I just said, reach out to someone who can help you. Reach is more experienced and known, and they have an organization which is more experienced. They have more people. They're specialists. They can help you make your idea into a reality. They can help you, they can give you feedback on it. They can help you improve it. They can help you implement it finally. And that would be amazing. It's amazing how many people are there to help youth, that are there to help people in general work towards the betterment of the environment. You just have to look for them and you have to work with them. Make your efforts public. When you do something amazing for your cause, share it with friends and family and anyone else out there who can help. Like I said, you'll be inspiring others, but above that, you'll be getting more people for your cause. You'll be getting more people who are keen, who are happy to work with you to, work better for that cause, that are happy to amplify the cause and include more people in it. And that's really the main point of this, is to encourage people to be part of your cause and to work with you for the better cause. I really hope that my advice CA deems to be helpful. And before I end my presentation, I would really like to thank Professor Santosh Kumar and Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal for the opportunity to share my work as well as my thoughts. Additionally, you can see some of my organization's social media accounts here, as well as my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me for any questions you have, and I would be happy to speak with you. I would be happy to converse with you, help out on any projects, any initiatives, provide feedback. I'd be happy. And I would like to end this presentation with a final remark for you to think about. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. That's a quote by Mother Teresa. Let's all be more global, more humble, more accepting, and generous to each other and towards the community. Let's be that ripple in the water that can bring about a wave of change. Hope and faith can bring a positive change to every outlook and perception. Let's connect with each other more and be kind to our planet Earth, which is the first and only source of our survival. Let's save it, preserve it, and cherish it for generations to come. No wonder our mission and vision hails Save the Planet Open Doors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aryan. You have made just not by saying this that yes, one can do it, but also demonstrating it, that how you have been able to actually sail it through in terms of starting from where you have reached this journey which you have taken. And wish you all best for, and I would request you, I know that the time is not in favor of you there. It's 1:30 a.m. in Canada at this point of time. And but I'm grateful that you are there still and made your presentation. Can I request you to be there for some more time? Because
of course, I'd be happy to. I was really hoping to stick around and hear the perspective of others, because like I said, it's all perspective.
Thank you. And after that, we will have some question answer before give you the vote of thanks later. Not now, so I would request you to be there, please.
Of course.
Thank you. Wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much, Aryan, for wonderful presentation. The next presenter, Susmita Tripathi. I request to Susmita Tripathi to give presentation for today's webinar. Susmita. Susmita. सुष्मिता त्रिपाठी ऑलरेडी ज्वाइन, वो तो ज्वाइन है सर, लेकिन अभी वो टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम के कारण लगता है कि वो नहीं बोल पा रही है। हेलो,
तो यू कैन रिक्वेस्ट उर्वशी।
तो मैं तो अभी मैं नेक्स्ट प्रेजेंटर उर्वशी मैडम को मैं प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए इनवाइट करता हूं। तो इसके पहले मैं उनका ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन देना चाहता हूं। उर्वशी चंद्रा जो है उसका प्रोग्राम ऑफिसर है रिस्क रिजिलियंट यूनिटी से उत्तर प्रदेश के लिए। इन्होंने 18 ईयर इनके पास 18 ईयर का एक्सपीरियंस है सोशल डेवलपमेंट सेक्टर में। इनके पास 12 ईयर का जो एक्सपीरियंस है क्लाइमेट चेंज एडेप्टेशन और डिजास्टर रिडक्शन पर काम किया है। इन्होंने डॉक्टरेट एंड डॉक्टरेट डिग्री इन सोशियोलॉजी 2003 में किया है। एक तरह से सोशल साइंटिस्ट हैं। इन्होंने बहुत सारे लोगों को ट्रेन किया है क्लाइमेट चेंज एडेप्टेशन और डिजास्टर रिडक्शन रिलेटेड इशू पे। और इन्होंने सुष्मिता उर्वशी मैडम ने उर्वशी मैडम also have experience of climate change adaptation and disaster reduction from University of Heidelberg, Germany. And now I am invited to Urvashi ma'am for today's presentation in webinar.
Thank you so much. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Santosh Kumar and Major General Manoj Jindal for inviting me on this important platform where we are engaging with children on the issue of climate change, which is very relevant in today's age. Just to give a short, I mean, I've been very impressed by what Aryan presented. It is really commendable that at such a young age, he has done such a lot of work and is really motivating youth across the world to take actions for protecting the environment and mitigating the effects of climate change. Now, learning from Aryan, I'd also like to present to you what we have been doing in India and especially in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh, as most of us are aware, is the most populous state of India. It is in the northern part of India, and it is, if it was considered as a country, it would be the 5th largest country in the world. Let me quickly share a presentation. Share. I'm not being able to share this. Can you see it on the screen?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, just a minute. So basically, in the state of UP, and before we move to UP, just quickly to inform you that India is the 5th most climate affected country in the world.
Slideshow mode.
1 minute. Yes. Can you hear me and see this?
Yes, yes.
So, and we all now know that children, and we have been knowing this also for quite some time, that children are highly vulnerable to climate change. If we look at the climate or the child vulnerability index, which has been created by the for measuring the vulnerability of children, then we find that UP, Uttar Pradesh, has the highest child vulnerability index, followed by the other states of India, Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. And the source is the disaster scorecard, which has been developed by the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2018. Why are children highly vulnerable to climate change? Because of their small physical size, their physiological and cognitive immaturity, and their dependence on caregivers for safety and protection. Plus, their exposure is much more to environmental hazards, and they are likely to develop more severe infection as well as experience complications while recovering because of the immunity system still being developed. Now, this gives I don't know whether it is very clear, but it gives you a quick understanding of how climate change would affect children. As Aryan already spoke about it from a child, I mean, he is a young, budding entrepreneur who's doing a lot on climate change and environment. But this will also help you understand that because of changing temperatures as well as precipitation, what we observe are more frequent and severe drought as well as more intense periods of rainfall. Many times we have observed that rainfall may be happening, more rainfall is happening in less number of days. And because of this, there is an issue of water stress, which in turn affects agriculture and the ecosystem, as well as leads to extreme weather events. Now, this in turn causes increase in morbidity and mortality, be it due to communicable diseases or even the non-communicable diseases. And then there is a decline in food security, which in turn leads to loss of livelihood and increases child poverty. If we look from a child's perspective, which UNICEF primarily focuses on, then because of climate change, it has been observed that morbidity and mortality has been rising. Malnutrition has been increasing, inequality has been increasing, there has been a reduction in child protection issues, and more children are becoming out of school. In a country like India, and especially if we talk of Uttar Pradesh, as it is, many children are out of school. And because of climate change, this number is increasing. And now, of course, contributing further is the issue of COVID-19, which we have witnessed this year in 2020. So what are we doing on ground in India, and especially in the context of the support that is being given by UNICEF to government? We have been working with the government on pushing for environment smart schools, or in other words, green schools. And if you look at it, what is a green school? We have again used the definition of the government themselves, that basically it inculcates environmental sensitivity and promotes sustainability. This is exactly what Aryan has been talking about, and he is asking the youth to get more and more engaged in these issues, to be more sensitive to one's environment, as well as to take actions which are sustainable through judicious use of resources. And basically what we are working on is promoting and building the capacities of children as eco-protectors, using various platforms like such as, if in India there is a concept of eco club. In many states it is very functional, while in many others it's still in the stage of being more and more functional. But that is a concept by Government of India which is implemented across the states of India, and we are using such platforms to promote this aspect of environment conservation and change adaptation, as well as disaster risk reduction among children. While we work with children, and especially the focus that UNICEF has been bringing on has been promoting, is building the capacities of children as environment ambassadors. We have environment ambassadors, Aryan himself. He is an environment ambassador. And we want such Aryans across the world. So what does that exactly mean? One, children and youth and adolescents understand what is climate change, what is environment conservation. Then we build their skills to take simple actions, be it planting trees, conserving water, conserving energy. These are very simple actions, but we build their capacities to take these simple actions. And then they themselves start taking these simple actions, say no to plastic, waste segregation, composting. And finally, they mentor their other children, other peers or other children around them in their communities or schools to move towards clean and green environment. So this is an environment ambassador because we are focusing, we have to look at a platform where we can reach out to children. So one is of course the communities, but the more, where our more focus is on schools. So here, while we build the capacities of children as environment ambassadors, we push them to push for sanitation, sanitation within their schools, which in turn means that they carry out under disaster risk reduction a hazard hunt, work out what are the issues that need to be addressed by the school management committees, and then push the school management committees to have a strong and robust school disaster management plan, including the issues of climate change and environment conservation. The second aspect is waste management, where I've already talked about waste segregation, the organic and the inorganic, and then to train them to develop compost pits using organic waste. And then the concept of 3 R's: recycle, reuse, and reduce. Then we move on to what is water conservation. What does it mean to ensure that we don't waste water? Very often we have seen in cities, people use hose pipes for cleaning their cars. So children, we have to use children as influencers. Children need to influence their parents and adults that they can use a wet cloth and a bucket of water to clean their car rather than wasting water. Or while brushing one's teeth, we can close the tap and then brush teeth and then open the tap when the water is required. Even the same case can be for washing utensils. Then, of course, we move on to much bigger concepts of rainwater harvesting. We can save water. We can harvest the water that is available because of rainfall, and then promotes watershed management in schools. Then another pillar is energy conservation, how we can train children to calculate the footprint, the energy footprint that is there in schools. Of course, while we talk about UNICEF support, we are working more with the government schools. Private schools, children very often are more exposed to many of these aspects, but where we need to build the capacities is the government schools, the rural areas, and then to upgrade these schools to use efficient energy bulbs as well as renewables. Overall, to have a green cover, as Aryan also mentioned, to push for tree plantation. It is not just enough to plant saplings. It is important to nurture them, to ensure that these trees grow, these saplings grow into good trees. And then, as I already mentioned, all this to be built into a school disaster risk reduction and management plan. In India, we have this concept of school disaster management plan, and we are pushing for integrating the aspects of climate change, not only in the curriculum of school, which is there to some extent, but also to be built into the disaster management plans. So as of now, from 2018 to 2020, we have been supporting government of UP, especially the Department of Environment, Education and the Relief Commissioner's Office, that is UP-SDMA, on building the capacities of children to become change agents, to have, I've been very impressed with Aryan's presentation, and I would like to see such kind of Aryans even in India, and we are trying to move towards that. And I'm sure within India, we have many children who are doing such activities. And probably UNICEF can help in bringing those children to bigger global platforms, and so they can share their innovative ideas. Very often children have more innovative ideas, and that is true that they have more innovative ideas than us adults. We often get stuck in our own old ways of working. Till now, we have supported the training of about 11,270 children in Uttar Pradesh across various districts of Uttar Pradesh. And we hope that we are able to build their capacities, and soon they would also be delivering some kind of their sharing their views and delivering speeches and lectures at global platforms in terms of the kind of work they have been doing within their communities and at schools. So thank you, and I'd be happy to discuss more on this as well as learn more from the other presenter who's also a young and budding youth that I am happy to hear more about. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Urvashi, for bringing the context, especially when Aryan made presentation, and how that can be a role model, and children where you are supporting, UNICEF is supporting to bring them into the forefront of the management. And also I don't know, I was discussing the other day also that yesterday also, and in the international conference on children, I think you were there on Asia Pacific
Yes.
discussion. I was thinking the providing platform to the children. There is no such platform in India in terms of on a regular, especially the disaster risk management and climate change together. So CCDRR, I'm thinking to develop that kind of a platform where children can get this voice to be heard, and there they can actually propagate such kind of initiatives. And what Aryan was mentioning again and again, that how his initiative and how kind of a linkages with not only that within India and also outside India, that how we can learn from each other's experiences. So thank you very much. And let's say Ranjan, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for a nice and wonderful presentation. And now I requested to Susmita for as a next presenter for today's webinar. Susmita.
सुबह तो थी वो,
हाँ अभी भी है, और लेकिन प्रॉब्लम नेटवर्क का है, चूंकि आउटरीच एरिया में रह रहे हैं। हेलो
Sir, can you hear me?
आपकी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है सर? हेलो
दिख रहे हैं?
Hello.
हाँ आपकी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है।
Namaskar. I am Susmita. Welcome to all and good morning. I am
Good morning.
Susmita. I started class 9. I also belongs to Gautam mangrove ecosystem, which is one of the best in the world. I seek your permission to speak my mother tongue Odia. ମୋ ଗାଁ ପେଣ୍ଠ ଭାରତର ଉପକୂଳର ବଙ୍ଗୋପସାଗର ଏବଂ କେନ୍ଦ୍ରାପଡ଼ା ଜିଲ୍ଲାର ବଙ୍ଗୋପସାଗର ତଟବର୍ତ୍ତୀ ଏକ ଗାଁ।
Sir, I am doing the translation. My village Pentha is a coastal village of district Kendrapada on the east coast of India on Bay of Bengal.
ପିଲାଟି ବେଳୁ ଏହି ଆଶଙ୍କାର ସହିତ ମୁଁ ବଞ୍ଚିଛି ଯେ ଯେକୌଣସି ସମୟରେ ମୋ ସମୁଦ୍ର ମୋ ସହିତ ମୋ ଗ୍ରାମବାସୀ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଗ୍ରାସ କରିଦେଇପାରେ।
Since my childhood, I have been living with the fear that anytime she may devour me with my village.
ଏହି ଭୟର ସହିତ ବଙ୍ଗୋପସାଗର ଉପକୂଳର ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ଶିଶୁ ବଞ୍ଚୁଅଛି।
Every child on the coast of Bay of Bengal is living with the same fear.
କେନ୍ଦ୍ରାପଡ଼ା ଜିଲ୍ଲା ଏକ ବିପର୍ଯ୍ୟୟ ପ୍ରବଣ ଅଞ୍ଚଳ।
Kendrapada district is a disaster prone area.
ପ୍ରତିବର୍ଷ ଆମେ ବନ୍ୟା, ବାତ୍ୟା, ମରୁଡ଼ି ଭଳି ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରିମ୍ ୱେଦର ଇଭେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ଦ୍ୱାରା ପ୍ରଭାବିତ ହୋଇଥାଉ।
Every year we are affected by cyclonic storm, flood and drought like extreme weather events.
ପୂର୍ବରୁ 10-15 ବର୍ଷ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଗୋଟିଏ ବଡ଼ ବାତ୍ୟା ହେଉଥିବା ବେଳେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ପ୍ରତିବର୍ଷ 2-3 ବଡ଼ ବାତ୍ୟା ଦେଖାଦେଉଛି।
Earlier, in every 10 to 15 years, we used to have a big cyclone or flood, but now every year we are getting 2 to 3 cyclones.
ଅତ୍ୟଧିକ ବର୍ଷା ଯୋଗୁଁ ପ୍ରତିବର୍ଷ ବନ୍ୟା ତାର ତାଣ୍ଡବ ଲୀଳା ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରି ଚାଲିଛି।
Excessive rainfall is creating flood situation.
ଯାହା ଦ୍ୱାରା ଲକ୍ଷାଧିକ ଲୋକ ପ୍ରଭାବିତ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି।
Which is affecting millions of people.
ଗତ 10 ବର୍ଷ ଭିତରେ ପ୍ରାକୃତିକ ବିପର୍ଯ୍ୟୟ ପ୍ରଭାବ ବଢିଛି।
In last 10 years, the effect of natural disaster has increased.
ଏହି ଜଳବାୟୁ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ ବିଷୟରେ ଆମେ ପିଲାମାନେ ଜାଣିପାରୁଛୁ।
We children are able to understand the effect of climate change.
ଏବଂ ଏକଥା ମଧ୍ୟ ପାଠ୍ୟପୁସ୍ତକ ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ ଆମେ ଜାଣିପାରୁଛୁ ଯେ ଜଳବାୟୁ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ ମନୁଷ୍ୟକୃତ।
And from our textbooks, we also understand that climate change is human induced.
ମନୁଷ୍ୟମାନଙ୍କ ଦ୍ୱାରା ଅନପ୍ଲାନ୍ଡ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ଓ ଅତ୍ୟଧିକ ଲୋଭ କାରଣରୁ ପ୍ରକୃତିର ସନ୍ତୁଳନ ନଷ୍ଟ ହେବାରେ ଲାଗି ଚାଲିଛି।
Unplanned development work and excessive greed has caused imbalance in the nature.
ଏଥିପାଇଁ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାରର ପିଲାମାନେ ଦାୟୀ ନୁହନ୍ତି।
We children are not at all responsible for this.
किंतु जलवायु परिवर्तनर एवं तद्वारा घटित विभिन्न प्रकारर एक्सट्रीम वेदर इवेंट्स रे शिशु माने सर्वाधिक प्रभावित हेउछंती.
But due to climate change and related extreme weather events, children are affected the most.
एही विषय एथिपाई अत्यंत गुरुत्वपूर्ण और संवेदनशील कारण जनसंख्यार प्राय 40% हेउछंती शिशु.
This subject is important and sensitive because we children are nearly 40% of the total human population.
एथिपाई शिशु मानकर जीवन ओ सेमानकर विकास उपरे पडुथिबा कुप्रभाव समग्र मानव जातिर विकास को बाधा प्राप्त करिथाय.
The ill effects on the children affecting their life and development are directly reflected in the indices of human development.
आमे शिशु माने निजर जत्न नेबा निजको सुरक्षा देई पारि नथाउ.
We children cannot take care of ourselves and protect ourselves.
सेथिपाई बड़ मानकर जत्न ओ सुरक्षा पाइ आवश्यक करिथाउ.
We depend on our adults for care and protection.
आमे शिशु माने प्रायतः आमर समस्या ओ आम साथी शिशु मानकर समस्या को जानि पारु ओ बुझी पारु.
We children can understand our problems and problems of our fellow children.
आम शिशु मानकर भावना को मतामत को पर्याप्त सुजोग देबा आवश्यक बा समर्थन देबा आवश्यक.
Adults should understand our feelings and give us opportunity.
एवं आमर मतामत रखिबा पई पर्याप्त सुजोग देबा आवश्यक.
And give us opportunity to express ourselves.
मु आज आम देशर प्रमुख अनुष्ठान NIDM को धन्यवाद अर्पण करूची कारण NIDM शिशु मानकर स्वर को सर्वोच्च स्तर रे पहुंचेबार सुजोग सृष्टि करूअछंती.
I today thank NIDM, the premier institute of our country, opportunities to take our children's voice to the highest level.
मु आज समस्त शिशु मानक तरफरु एही वेबिनार रे मोर मतामत उपस्थापन करूची.
On behalf of all children, I am going to speak in this webinar.
जलवायु परिवर्तनर प्रभाव रे बन्या बात्या मरुडी भली आदि प्राकृतिक विपर्यय बारंबार फसल हानि होची. एही भली प्राकृतिक विपर्यय जोगु बारंबार हेउची.
Recurring cyclone, floods, and erratic rainfalls like disasters due to climate damaging crops regularly.
एही वर्ष मध्य आमे एही समस्या रे सम्मुखीन होई अछु.
We are facing the same problem this year also.
वर्तमान देखिबाकू गले आलू पियाज भली विभिन्न नित्य आवश्यक खाद्य शस्यर दर क्रमशः वृद्धि हेबारे लागिछि.
Vegetable and food grain costs are increasing.
खाद्य भाव जोगु शिशु मानकर पर्याप्त पुष्टि साधन हेई पारु नाही.
Because of lack of food, the nutrition of children is getting affected.
आम अंचल रे प्राय 90% लोक कृषि ऊपर निर्भर करिथांती.
Around 90% of population in our area depend on agriculture.
आम फसल हानि हेबा द्वारा प्रत्येक परिवार रे खाद्य भाव देखा देउची.
Due to crop loss, every family is facing the shortage of food.
तेणु शिशु मानकर पुष्टि साधन रे यह बाधा सृष्टि हेउची.
Food deficiency is affecting nutrition of children.
छोट छोट शिशु और प्राथमिक विद्यालय जाउथिबा शिशु मानकर आवश्यक पुष्टि साधन निमंते सप्लीमेंटरी न्यूट्रिशन सपोर्ट मीडियम मील माध्यम रे जोगाई दिया जाउची.
Supplementary nutrition support is being provided through MDM to small children and children going to primary school.
COVID-19 परिस्थिति रे एही सुविधा सामूहिक भावे बाधा प्राप्त हेउची. होइतिले मध्य अति शीघ्र समस्यार समाधान करा जाई शिशु मानकर घरे जोगाई दिया जाउची.
In COVID-19 situation, there was some gap in this process, but quickly the issue was sorted out and children are being provided with MDM ration at home.
किंतु एही सप्लीमेंटरी न्यूट्रिशन सपोर्ट मासे 2 मास थरे दिया जाउथिबारु तार निर्दिष्ट लक्ष्य साधन होई पारु नाही.
Supplementary nutrition support is being provided once in a month or in 2 months, for which the desired objective is not achieved.
କାରଣ ଶିଶୁ ବଦଳରେ ତାର ପରିବାରର ସଦସ୍ୟମାନେ ତାକୁ ଖାଇ ଦେଉଛନ୍ତି।
Because other family members of the children are consuming the ration.
ଏହା ବଡମାନଙ୍କର କାର୍ଯ୍ୟଶୈଳୀର ଏକ ଉଦାହରଣ ମାତ୍ର।
This is just one of the examples of adults' decision making process.
ବାରମ୍ବାର ଫସଲ ହାନି ଏବଂ ବିପର୍ଯ୍ୟୟ ଯୋଗୁଁ ପରିବାରର ନିୟମିତ ବିକାଶ ଧାରା ବାଧାପ୍ରାପ୍ତ ହେଉଅଛି।
A recurring disaster and crop loss is hindering the development process of the families.
5-10 ବର୍ଷ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଯାହା ସମ୍ପତ୍ତି ଗଚ୍ଛିତ କରିଥାଉ ତାହା ଗୋଟିଏ ବନ୍ୟା କିମ୍ବା ବାତ୍ୟାରେ ନଷ୍ଟ କରିଦିଏ।
In 5 to 10 years, whatever property was accumulated by the family, one cyclone or flood takes that away.
ଗୋଟିଏ ବିପର୍ଯ୍ୟୟ ଆର୍ଥିକ ସ୍ଥିତିରେ ଆମକୁ ପୁଣି ପଛକୁ ଠେଲି ଦେଇଥାଏ।
One disaster again pushes us back financially.
ଏହି ସବୁ କାରଣରୁ ବହୁ ସଂଖ୍ୟକ ଲୋକମାନେ ଏମିତିକି 14-15 ବର୍ଷର ପିଲାମାନେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅତି ଅଣକୁଶଳ ଶ୍ରମିକ ଭାବେ ଆମ ଦେଶରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଅଞ୍ଚଳକୁ ପଳାଇ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି।
Because of all these, people in large numbers, even at the age of 14-15, are migrating to different parts of our country as unskilled laborers.
ଏହି ସବୁ କାରଣରୁ ବହୁ ସଂଖ୍ୟକ ଝିଅମାନେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମ ଅଞ୍ଚଳରୁ ମାଇଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଟ ଲେବର ଭାବରେ ବାହାରକୁ କାମ କରିବାକୁ ଚାଲି ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି।
Large number of girls are also migrating in search of work because of this.
ଏହା ଆମ ଅଞ୍ଚଳରେ ଉତ୍କଟ ସ୍ଥିତି ଧାରଣ କରିସାରିଛି।
The problem has become acute in our locality.
ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ବଡ଼ ବନ୍ୟା ଓ ବାତ୍ୟା ପରେ ଏହି ମାଇଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଟ ପ୍ରକ୍ରିୟା ବହୁ ଗୁଣରେ ବଢି ଯାଇଥାଏ।
After every big flood or cyclone, there is a spike in migration.
ଏହି COVID-19 ଭୟାବହତା ଯୋଗୁଁ ଅନେକ ମାଇଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଟ ଲେବର ମାନେ ନିଜ ସ୍ଥାନକୁ ଫେରି ଯାଉଥିଲେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଏବେ ପୁନର୍ବାର ସେମାନେ ଆଉ ଥରେ ରୋଜଗାର ସନ୍ଧାନରେ ଫେରି ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି।
In COVID-19 pandemic, most of them came back to the native place. Now they are going back again due to the same reasons.
ଏହି ମାଇଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଟ ଲେବର ମାନେ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲୋଇଟେସନ, ଆବ୍ୟୁଜ ଓ ଟ୍ରାଫିକିଂ ଭଳି ଗୁରୁତର ସମସ୍ୟାର ସମ୍ମୁଖୀନ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି।
These migrants also facing the problems like exploitation, abuse and trafficking.
ସେମାନଙ୍କର ଶିକ୍ଷା, ବିକାଶ, ସ୍ୱାସ୍ଥ୍ୟ ଓ ସୁରକ୍ଷାର ଅଧିକାର ଗୁଡିକ କ୍ଷୁଣ୍ଣ ହେଉଛି।
Their rights to education, development, health and protection are violated.
ଯେହେତୁ ଯୁବପିଢି ମାନେ ରୋଜଗାରର ସନ୍ଧାନରେ ନିଜ ଗାଁ ଛାଡି ବାହାରକୁ ଚାଲି ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି, ସେଥିପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କ ଗ୍ରାମ ଓ ପରିବାରର ଯତ୍ନ ନେବା ଓ ବୟସ୍କ ମାନଙ୍କର ଯତ୍ନ ନେବା ତଥା ବିପର୍ଯ୍ୟୟ ପରିସ୍ଥିତିକୁ ସାମ୍ନା କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଲୋକବଳର ଅଭାବ ଦେଖା ଦେଇଥାଏ।
As the youth force is leaving their villages in search of work, there is a dearth of workforce in the communities for taking care of the families, elders and to face the disasters.
ଆମେ ଶିଶୁମାନେ ଗ୍ରାମରେ ଏହି ସବୁ ସାମାଜିକ ସମସ୍ୟାକୁ ସ୍ପଷ୍ଟ ଭାବରେ ଅନୁଭବ କରୁଛୁ।
We children staying in the villages would understand and feel the social implications.
ନିୟମିତ ଭାବରେ ବାତ୍ୟା, ବନ୍ୟା ଏବଂ COVID-19 ଭଳି ପରିସ୍ଥିତିରେ ଆବଶ୍ୟକ ସ୍ୱାସ୍ଥ୍ୟ ସେବା ବହୁଳ ଭାବରେ ବାଧାପ୍ରାପ୍ତ ହେଉଅଛି।
Disasters affecting the regular services, health services.
ସର୍ବଦା ଶିଶୁମାନେ ଏଥିରେ ବେଶୀ ପ୍ରଭାବିତ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି।
Children are the worst sufferers always.
ଅନେକ ଧନ ଜୀବନ କ୍ଷତି କରିବା ସହ ଅସଂଖ୍ୟ ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କୁ ବାସହରା କରୁଛି ଓ ଭୋକିଲା ରଖୁଛି।
Disasters related to climate are causing large-scale damage to life and property and also making innumerable children homeless and hungry.
ସାତଭାୟା ଓ ପେଣ୍ଠ ଭଳି ଜନବସତି କ୍ଲାଇମେଟ କ୍ରାଇସିସ୍ ଯୋଗୁଁ ଡିସପ୍ଲେସମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି।
Habitations like Satabaya and Penta are being displaced due to climate crisis.
ଶିଶୁମାନେ ତାଙ୍କ ପରିବାର ଠାରୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଲଗା ହେଉଛନ୍ତି।
Children are getting separated from their families.
ପରିବେଶବିତ୍ ମାନେ ପୂର୍ବାନୁମାନ କରିଲେଣି ଯେ ଆସନ୍ତା 20 ରୁ 30 ବର୍ଷ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ପରିସ୍ଥିତି ଅତି ଭୟଙ୍କର ହେବ।
Predictions for next 20 to 30 years by the climate experts about our future is unthinkable. It's very green.
ଅତୀତରେ ଭିତରକନିକା ଲୁଣା ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ଆମକୁ ଅନେକ ବଡ଼ ବାତ୍ୟା ଓ ସାମୁଦ୍ରିକ ଜୁଆରରୁ ରକ୍ଷା କରି ଚାଲିଛି।
Since long, Bhitarkanika mangroves have saved us from many cyclones and storm surges.
1971, 1982, 1999 ମସିହା ଭଳି ଭୟଙ୍କର ବାତ୍ୟା ଏବଂ ଜୁଆରରୁ ରାଜନଗରକୁ ସୁରକ୍ଷା ଦେଇ ଆସିଛି।
It has saved Rajanagar from big cyclones like 1971, 1982 and 1999 super cyclone.
ତତ୍ସହିତ ସେହି ଲୁଣା ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ପରିସଂସ୍ଥା ଭେରି ଇଫେକ୍ଟିଭ କାର୍ବନ ସିଙ୍କ୍ କ୍ଲାଇମେଟ୍ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ଆଡାପ୍ଟେସନରେ ସମଗ୍ର ଜୀବଜଗତ ପାଇଁ ମୁଖ୍ୟ ଭୂମିକା ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିଛି।
With that, this mangrove ecosystem is a very effective carbon sink and has played a great role in climate change adaptation.
ଆମେ ଶିଶୁମାନେ ଗଛ ଲଗାଇବା ସମଗ୍ର ଜୀବଜଗତ ପାଇଁ ମୁଖ୍ୟ ଭୂମିକା ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବା ଏବଂ ୱାର୍ଲଡ ଫରେଷ୍ଟ ଡେ ବନ ମହୋତ୍ସବ ଭଳି ଦିବସମାନଙ୍କରେ ବ୍ୟାପକ ବୃକ୍ଷରୋପଣ ଏବଂ ଲୁଣା ଜଙ୍ଗଲର ପୁନରୁଦ୍ଧାରଣ ନିମନ୍ତେ ଦାବି କରି ଆସୁଅଛୁ।
We children are planting trees, and also on the occasion like World Forest Day, Bana Mahotsav, we demand for large scale plantation of trees.
କିନ୍ତୁ ବିକାଶର ଦ୍ୱାହି ଦେଇ ସାରା ପୃଥିବୀରେ ଏହି ମ୍ୟାନଗ୍ରୋଭ ଇକୋସିଷ୍ଟମର ବ୍ୟାପକ ଭାବରେ ନଷ୍ଟ କରାଯାଇଅଛି।
But in the name of development, these mangrove ecosystems worldwide are being damaged severely.
ନଦୀମାନଙ୍କରେ ମିଠା ଜଳ ସ୍ରୋତ କମ ହେବା ଯୋଗୁଁ 2050 ମସିହା ସୁଦ୍ଧା ଭିତରକନିକା ଲୁଣ ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ପରିସଂସ୍ଥା ସମ୍ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ଲୋପ ପାଇଯିବାର ପୂର୍ବାନୁମାନ ବୈଜ୍ଞାନିକମାନେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି।
Scientists are predicting that due to withering in the freshwater flow in rivers, Bhitarkanika mangroves will not survive till 2050.
ଜଳବାୟୁ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନକୁ ବ୍ୟୁତ୍କ୍ରମ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ସମଗ୍ର ଉପକୂଳରେ ବ୍ୟାପକ ଲୁଣା ଜଙ୍ଗଲ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିବାର ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ରହିଛି।
To reverse the climate change, massive regeneration of mangroves in the coastal region is needed.
ଆମେ ଶିଶୁମାନେ କେବଳ ରିସିଭର ନୁହଁ।
We children are not mere receivers only.
ଆମ୍ଭେମାନେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅନେକ ମିନିଂଫୁଲି କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିବ୍ୟୁସନ ଟୁ ଦ ସୋସାଇଟି ଆଣ୍ଡ ନେଚର କରିଥାଉ।
We do in many ways contribute meaningfully to the society and nature.
ସ୍କୁଲ କ୍ୟାବିନେଟ ସଦସ୍ୟ ଭାବରେ, ଗ୍ରାମ ଶିଶୁ ସଂଘ ସଦସ୍ୟ ଭାବରେ, ସିପିଏମ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ସ୍କୁଲ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ କମିଟି ସଦସ୍ୟ ଭାବରେ, ଗ୍ରୀନ ଆମ୍ବାସଡର୍ସ ଭାବରେ ଏବଂ ଭିଲେଜ DRR ଟାସ୍କ ଫୋର୍ସ ମେମ୍ବର ଭାବରେ, ବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟର ସୁରକ୍ଷା ଯୋଜନା ଓ ଶିଶୁ କୈନ୍ଦ୍ରିକ ଗ୍ରାମ ବିପର୍ଯ୍ୟୟ ପ୍ରଶମନ ଯୋଜନା ଭଳି ସାମାଜିକ ପ୍ରକ୍ରିୟାରେ ମଧ୍ୟ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିବ୍ୟୁଟ କରିଅଛୁ।
As member of school cabinet, member of village child group, member of school management committee, child protection committee, as green ambassadors, and as member of village DRR task force, we children are also contributing in development of school safety plans and village child centered DRR plans.
ଶିଶୁ କୈନ୍ଦ୍ରିକ ଓ ଶିଶୁ ବନ୍ଧୁ ବିଚାରଧାରା ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ଆମେ ଅନୁଭବ କରୁଅଛୁ।
We feel the need of child centered and child friendly attitude among adults.
ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କର ଭାଗିଦାରୀ ଆମ ପୃଥିବୀକୁ ଅଧିକ ସୁରକ୍ଷିତ କରିବ, ଏହା ଆମ ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କର ଦୃଢ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ।
Children's participation will make this world safer, we children believe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Susmita, for a wonderful presentation. And now मैं उर्वशी मैडम से कुछ आज के जो बच्चे का जो भागीदारी है उसमें उसको प्रकाश में डालते हुए कुछ अपना विचार व्यक्त करने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूँ। उर्वशी मैडम।
थैंक यू। जैसे ये बहुत ही अच्छा लगा इनकी बच्चों की ये सुन के कि कितना अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। आपको थोड़ा म्यूट करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो एको हो रही है। ये उड़ीसा में भी जो बढ़िया काम कर रही है, ये यंग जो बच्ची है, इससे बहुत हम लोग सब प्रभावित होके ये मैं जरूर कहना चाहूंगी कि इसी तरह जैसे संतोष कुमार सर ने कहा है, एक प्लेटफॉर्म, सर आई विल रियली प्रमोट, आई मीन पुश फॉर दिस प्लेटफॉर्म दैट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द CCDRR where children can bring their voices. This will be very important कि इनकी आवाजों को सुना जाए और फिर इनकी जो पॉइंट्स आते हैं एक अच्छे तरह से यूनिसेफ फिर गवर्नमेंट के साथ एडवोकेट करके पॉलिसीज भी बना सकते हैं जो बच्चे चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक इश्यूज को डील कर सके, खास तौर से DRR में, क्योंकि फोकस बच्चों पे, जबकि बच्चे सबसे ज्यादा वनरेबल होते हैं, बच्चों पे एक स्पेशल फोकस जो लाना है वो हमें जो करना है I will suggest ki, and I'll be happy as UNICEF Uttar Pradesh also. We'd be happy to partner with NIDM and see how we can promote this and work together. So Santosh Kumar sir, I'll be happy to be, to be able to contribute to your CCDRR in whatever way if you suggest. एंड इन्होंने जो बताया उड़ीसा से बहुत बढ़िया है, इनको मैंने कि बहुत अच्छा है। आई विल से कि ऐसे ही बच्चों को और काम करते रहना चाहिए, और बच्चे जो आपके आसपास के जो बच्चे जो और ऐसा काम कर रहे हो, उनको भी आप लोग मोटिवेट करिए कि वो भी अपनी वॉइसेस, अपनी बातें बताएं हम लोग को, और क्या इश्यूज हैं उसको, उनके सॉल्यूशंस बच्चों ने क्या ढूंढा है वो हमारा जानना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि तभी वो बहुत सस्टेनेबल भी रहेगा। तो मैं प्रोफेसर संतोष कुमार से ही रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि वो अपने व्यूज दें इसके बारे में। थैंक यू सर।
मैडम एक चीज मैं और ऐड करना चाहता हूँ इसमें कि इनिशिएटिव को सपोर्ट करना चाहिए कि क्योंकि लैंग्वेज बैरियर हर स्टेट में, मैंने अभी तक 76 वेबिनार कराए हैं, तो हर जगह लैंग्वेज का बैरियर है, तो उसके लैंग्वेज के अनुसार उसका जो है जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है या उस तरह का कोई पार्टिसिपेशन है उस पर ध्यान रखते हुए इंग्लिश से कुछ सपोर्ट करें जिससे उस तरह का डेवलपमेंट हो सके।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ठीक है, थैंक यू।
Thank you, Urvashi ji, and especially thank you for making this presentation, and the presentation which we heard from Orissa. It was really very nice. She brought the perspective of COVID-19 also and the migrant laborers. She also talked about disaster risk. The regular Kendrapada is a disaster-prone area, and every time they get affected, and children are the worst victim. तो पहले थोड़ा I wanted to know from her कि as a affected children, amongst the affected children, आपने क्या वहाँ पे कुछ ऐसा जो आपके दिमाग में आता है जो किया जिसको सपोर्ट NIDM और या कोई इंटरनेशनल कंट्रीब्यूशन हो जिसमें हम लोग मिलके काम करें? जैसे आर्यन ने भी बताया, मैं आर्यन से भी सवाल पूछूंगा, लेकिन बिफोर आई गो टू आर्यन आई विल आस्क यू, आपसे मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, आप बताइएगा कि आपने कैसे इसको देखा और कैसे इसको आगे ले जाने का और कैसे बच्चों कर रही हैं, वो थोड़ा बताएंगी तो हमें थोड़ा अच्छा होगा। और पार्टिसिपेंट्स भी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहे हैं, और मैं चैट बॉक्स में देख रहा हूँ, चैट बॉक्स में भी क्वेश्चंस हैं, तो उसको भी हम एड्रेस करेंगे पहले। लेकिन आपकी बात सुने हम थोड़ा इस पे जो सवाल आए हैं। जो सवाल है कि आप बच्चे के रूप में आप कैसे सोच रहे हैं कि हम इसको आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं और NIDM का सपोर्ट हो सकता है, या वहाँ पे जो स्थानीय संस्थाएं हैं, लोकल जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं या लोकल वहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट है पूरी तरह से आपसे जुड़ी हैं, और जो सिविल सोसाइटी के लोग हैं, NGO के लोग हैं, वो आपको किस तरह से मदद कर रही हैं? सुभास्मिता, क्या आवाज आपने सुनी मैंने क्या कहा? पति what I have said? आपका कुछ ऑडियो प्रॉब्लम है। इन द मीनवाइल let me ask this question to Aryan. Aryan, how do you see, you have listened to India's presentation also, and I will have one small question from you. When you thought of actually taking up this, you said that you were 8 to 9 years old that time, and how did it struck to you this that this is an issue, because at that stage children are actually wandering around, they are engaged in different activities, their school priority is much more, and school, I'm not saying that school is not important, school is important, and taking time off from that, so that our the other children who are listening to you, or many parents are also, they have joined, they're also listening to you. Almost in India, when we go for certain activities, parents get worried, and we also get worried that what will happen if the exam will come. He is devoting more time in this carbon emission work and tree plantation, probably it will not fetch him any job. So what kind of a challenges did you face at the household level and the societal level? And you can sail through all these initial odds.
Haji, so I would say that uh, I think you might want to mute your mic because it's echoing. Anyway, I'll just continue. So what I think is that, you know, everyone hears it. It's not like you know, I hear that the environment is changing and other kids don't, because that's not true at all. Everyone hears it. Um, Everyone worldwide knows our climate is changing. Obviously, they've heard of this in different ways. Some have heard of this through the news. Some have heard of this through family friends. Some have heard of this, you know, just by generally noticing it and researching it. But we all do know that the climate is changing. It just depends who decides to take action on it, because a lot of people just kind of you know, they ignore the fact that you know, in just a few years, 7 to 10 years, our planet will be beyond repair, and after that we can't change it back anymore. We'll be beyond the point where we can you know, very easily heal it back with just unity and a little bit of hard work. And people decide to think that, you know, with a lot of our action plans nowadays, we notice that you know, we'll have net zero carbon emissions by 2050. So a lot of people just assume that I have till 2050, what's the rush, just leave it and, you know, focus on something else. But that's not it at all. We don't have as long as we think we do, and a lot of people don't hear that, which is why I think a lot of people don't get involved. But if they're taught and educated in the right way, I feel like everyone will get involved. Everyone will care about the environment, because it's not like we're thinking of someone else. We're thinking of everyone, including ourselves, when we're taking care of the environment. And moving on, when you were asking about what kind of hardships or challenges I faced, um, I would say that you know, I would say it's much easier than it was before now, because everyone is focusing on you know, youth involvement and how to help youth, how to support youth, just like this webinar. And I think that that really helps encourage people. And but I will say that it wasn't as easy as it has become now, because you know, I had to convince a lot of people to listen to what I'm saying, and I had to um, you know, I had to really make the extra effort to kind of convince them that what I'm saying is viable and that it's something which can be implemented. It's not just gibberish coming from a kid. But like I said, that's all changed now, because everyone is supportive now. Everyone really cares about youth being involved in the environment. And I feel like that's one very big and very important step in um, you know, changing the climate for the better and involving our young minds in new innovations. I think you're muted.
One point I still would like to know from you. As you said that everyone is knowing about this and they get exposed to media and also information. All is always there that climate change is going to get to the worst. And we have just only 4 or 5 or 8 years with us where we can. But how at the age of 8 or 9, which we say now you're 14, so your journey is 6 years in this already in this initiative. The local, so that the school dilemma, with the children who are living, they definitely they are into many activities, but they wish to actually also go into the direction which probably you are going out. Even they wish to get motivated from you and start working. Like you see that how in Orissa, she's also doing a very good work. But how do you see this can be actually scaled? Now you are saying this one is that your individual effort, you faced initial challenges which you coped with. Now we are thinking of scaling up. It should not be remain to one minds and one child initiatives, but as you have been able to spread it over. So what suggestion which you will offer in this particular webinar that NIDM or institution like us or youngsters who are listening to you, they can get motivated and thinking of getting into this, and also an institution like us will facilitate them in this scaling up this process?
Yeah, so I'm just going to use the example of some things that I experienced here in Canada and some things that have helped me. A lot of what I've noticed is that there's a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of ways. There's everywhere you go, there's somehow a way to get involved. When I go to school, like Miss Chandra was saying, there's a eco club in all high schools and middle schools here, and that really gives us the opportunity to give our ideas starting even younger, and it kind of sets our mind to the fact that we can help the environment. We're not just kids, we're also people, and we can help the environment. It shows us that our efforts do make a difference, and it does all this whilst with other people who care about the same cause. So what I would say is that there should just be opportunities everywhere. There should be opportunities in every school possible. There should be opportunities in all communities to get involved, and it should be as easy as possible. It shouldn't be something where you have to apply for something. You have to completely apply, and you have to go through a lot of guidelines. It should be something where everyone is welcome. Everyone should be able to share their ideas in kind of an open environment, and everyone's ideas should be considered.
Thank you. You stay with us. I would request Subhasmita, what Aryan has said. Aryan जी ने जो कहा, Subhasmita, आप देखें, आप भी उसी तरह से challenges face किया है आपने. एक बहुत ही remote place केंद्रपाड़ा का, और वहाँ पे आपने एक initiative लिया है, और इस इनिशिएटिव में आपने कई चीजों को हाईलाइट किया है. आपने कहा कि हमारे पास पहले मैंने कुछ फेस किया, आपने चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग होता है, बच्चों के साथ दुर्व्यवहार होता है. तो इन सब चीजों को आपके साथ, आप अकेले ये लड़ाई लड़ रही हैं या और भी बच्चे आपके साथ जुड़े हैं? किस तरह से आपने इसको आगे बढ़ाया? क्या आपके अनुभव है इसमें? जैसे आर्यन ने बताया, आपने भी बताया कई चीजें. तो आपसे अभी जो मेरे सवाल हैं उसमें आप ये जरा बताएं कि जो बच्चे सुन रहे हैं या आपके बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स भी सुन रहे हैं आपके, तो वो इस तरह से बच्चों को मोटिवेट करें आपके अनुभव के आपदा के में, तो उसको कम या फिर जो इस तरह के जो चैलेंजेस बच्चे फेस करते हैं, कैसे उनको दूर कर सकते हैं आपके सहयोग से, या आपके उम्र के बच्चे किस तरह से मोटिवेट हो सकते हैं?
थैंक यू सर. मु लास्ट ईयर हबो इंटरनेशनल पीस प्राइज पाई नॉमिनेशन हेइतिली. मु एका नुहे कि मु जे पर्यंत आम विद्यालय रो उन्नति कार्य करूथिली कि जो माने कि रेगुलर इरेगुलर होथिले सेमानंकु नियमित विद्यालय को आनिबा पई काम करूथिली.
I got nominated for children's International Children's Peace Prize last year, and I am working with children, those who are dropouts, irregular in school, to bring them back to school.
जो पिला माने श्रमिक भाव कार्य करने को बाहर को चली जाउछंती, सेमानकर विभिन्न उच्च स्थान रे चढ़ी कार्य करूछंती. बहुत छोट छोट पिला माने मध्ये उच्च स्थान रे चढ़ी कार्य करूछंती. सेमानकर सुरक्षा अधिकार ऊपर बहुत कार्य प्रभाव पकाउछि.
Children, those who are migrating in early age for work, they are working in dangerous situation like in high-rise buildings and etc. without any safety measures, and it is creating protection issues for those children.
तो पिला मानक ऊपर जो अशालीनता व्यवहार देखा देउची कि चारिआडे परिवेश रे सेमानक प्रति अशालीन व्यवहार होउची, जदि बा सेमाने विद्यालय रे रहिबे सेमाने सुरक्षित रहिबे.
Children, if they stay in schools, they will be protected, stay protected. from those ill behavior they are getting from the society.
ତେଣୁ ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ହେଉଥିବା ଅସୁବିଧା କି ସମସ୍ୟା ସେମାନଙ୍କର ଯାହା ଅଛି ସେତକୁ ସ୍କୁଲରେ ଯୋଉ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ କମିଟି ଏବଂ ପଲ୍ଲୀ ସଭାରେ ଗ୍ରାମ ସଭା ବିଭିନ୍ନ ଲୋକମାନେ ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କର ଅସୁବିଧାକୁ ଶୁଣିବା ଏବଂ ତାଙ୍କର ସମସ୍ୟାକୁ ସମାଧାନ କରିବା ପାଇଁ
the children, the problem children are facing, school management committee and the village level and the lowest level governance level committees and decision making bodies, they should take cognizance and give suggestions on how to uh, uh, overcome these problems.
ଏବଂ ନେଚର୍ସ କ୍ଲବ ସେଭ୍ ଦି ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନ୍ ସହିତ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମେ ପିଲାମାନେ ମିଶିକି ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କର କିପରି ସ୍ୱାସ୍ଥ୍ୟ ଚାରୋଟି ଯୋଉ ଅଧିକାର ରହିଛି ବଞ୍ଚିବାର ଅଧିକାର ସୁରକ୍ଷାର ଅଧିକାର ଭାଗ ନେବାର ଅଧିକାର ଅଂଶଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବାର ଅଧିକାର ନେଚର୍ସ କ୍ଲବ ଆଣ୍ଡ ସେଭ୍ ଦି ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନ୍ ସହିତ ମିଶିକି ଆମେ ସେସବୁ କେମିତି ସବୁ ପିଲା ପାଇପାରିବେ ତା ପ୍ରତି ମଧ୍ୟ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ କରିବା ଆମର ନିତାନ୍ତ ଜରୁରୀ।
With Save the Children and Nature's Club that I am associated with, we children, we are working on the four rights, four sets of rights like right to survival, right to development, right to protection and right to participation.
ଏବଂ ପିଲାମାନେ ବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟରେ କ୍ୟାବିନେଟ ମନ୍ତ୍ରୀ ଭାବେ ରହିଥାନ୍ତି କ୍ୟାବିନେଟ ସଦସ୍ୟ ହୋଇ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କର ଅସୁବିଧାକୁ ସମାଧାନ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହାନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ମୋ ମତରେ କେବଳ ପିଲାମାନେ ମିଶିଗଲେ ହିଁ ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କର ଅସୁବିଧା ଦୂର ହୋଇପାରିବ ନାହିଁ ସେଥିପ୍ରତି ସମସ୍ତ ବଡମାନେ ସଚେତନ ହେବା ଦରକାର ଏବଂ ଚତୁଃପାର୍ଶ୍ୱରେ ଆୱାରନେସ୍ ଆଣିବା ମଧ୍ୟ ଦରକାର।
Children are doing good work as child cabinet members in schools, but as I feel, children alone cannot change everything, cannot make things good. So the adults, they need to be more sensitive, more aware, and awareness on child rights should be on mass.
NIDM ମଧ୍ୟ ଯେଉଁ ସହଯୋଗ କରୁଛି ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କର ଅସୁବିଧାକୁ ଉଚ୍ଚ ସ୍ଥାନରେ ପହଞ୍ଚାଉଛି ତାକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ ସ୍ୱାଗତ ଯୋଗ୍ୟ କରୁଛି କାରଣ ସେ ପ୍ରକ୍ରିୟାରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କର ଅସୁବିଧା ବା ସମସ୍ୟା ସମାଧାନ ହୋଇପାରୁଛି।
NIDM is allowing children's voice to reach or supporting children level. In that way, many children's problems are being highlighted and solutions are being designed in that way.
Thank you so much. Two questions at this stage to both of you, you and Aryan, and I would request Urvashi ji to comment upon. Two questions. One is this: अगर आप जाते हैं to the local administration, तो आपने स्कूल में कही और जिला प्रशासन के पास अगर जिलाधिकारी के पास जाते हैं तो आपकी बात जिला प्रशासन आपके बात को सुनने के लिए मौका दे पाता है या नहीं दे पाता है या कोई दिक्कत होती है जिला प्रशासन तक पहुंचने में बच्चों की बात लेकर अगर आप जाते हैं तो आपको वो रिकॉग्निशन वहां पे मिल पाता है कि नहीं आपकी बात सुनने के लिए?
ମୁଁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଜିଲ୍ଲା ପ୍ରଶାସନର କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ କରୁଛି ଏବଂ ଜିଲ୍ଲା ପ୍ରଶାସନ ଆମ କଲେକ୍ଟର ଯିଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ସହିତ ମଧ୍ୟ କଥା ହେଇକି ବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟର ସଚେତନତା ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରିବା ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ହେଉଥିବା ଅତ୍ୟାଚାରକୁ ସମାଧାନ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି କ୍ୟାବିନେଟର ସଦସ୍ୟ ଏବଂ ନେଚର୍ସ କ୍ଲବ ଆଉ ସେଭ୍ ଦି ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନର ସହାୟତାରେ ଯଦି ମୁଁ କଲେକ୍ଟର ପାଖକୁ ଯିବି କି ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କର ସମସ୍ୟା କହିବି ତାହେଲେ ସେ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ସମାଧାନ ହୋଇପାରିବ।
I have been working with the district administration. I have discussed issues regarding our problems with him, and with the help of Save the Children, Nature's Club, we can reach to the district administration, and I am sure our problems will be heard and solved.
आपको भी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पे लोगों ने आपको सराहा है और आपको प्राइज मिला है कि अच्छे काम को आप इसका कितना उत्साह और
Sir, the voice is just breaking. Couldn't hide.
कह रहा हूँ कि आपको अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पे सराहा गया है, आपको प्राइज मिला है, यू हैव बीन अवॉर्डेड। तो आपके इस प्रशंसा से या आपको जो मोटिवेशन मिलता है, एनर्जी मिलती है, और अपने बच्चों को इस तरह से आपसे उत्साहित हो पा रहे हैं और जुड़ना चाहते हैं।
ମୁଁ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୋ ପାଠ ପଢା ଜୀବନରେ ନେଚର୍ସ କ୍ଲବ ସହିତ ବହୁତ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କର ରାଇଟ୍ସ ଉପରେ କିମ୍ବା ତାଙ୍କ ସୁରକ୍ଷା ଉପରେ ବହୁତ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ କରିଛି। ଆଗକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ ଶପଥ ନେଇଛି ଯେ ମୁଁ ନେଚର୍ସ କ୍ଲବରେ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ କରିକି ଇଣ୍ଟରନ୍ୟାସନାଲ ପିସ୍ ପାଇଁ ଯୋଉ ନମିନେସନ ହେଇଥିଲି ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କ ରାଇଟ୍ସ ଉପରେ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ କରି ଆଗକୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ ସମସ୍ତ ଶିଶୁମାନଙ୍କ ସହିତ ମିଳିତ ହୋଇ ଏବଂ ନିଜ ଗ୍ରାମରେ ଶିଶୁ କମିଟି ଗଠନ କରି ନେଚର୍ସ କ୍ଲବ ଏବଂ ସେଭ୍ ଦି ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନର ସହାୟତାରେ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କର ସମସ୍ୟାକୁ ସମାଧାନ କରିପାରିବି।
I have been working with children, and I am sure that with the Nature's Club and Save the Children's support, by developing child groups in villages, in our locality, we can solve many problems of children.
The next, madam, Aryan, are you there? Okay, so the question which I raised to Sukha, that she got also this International Peace Award for conferred International Peace Award for children, something, and her recognition for her good work, and that is also motivating her to take forward another in peer group, that children are also getting motivated and working. How do you see in Canada, like when you took this initiative, you never looked for award and something like that, but now you also got an international recognition for your good work. How this is actually remotivating you all the time, or whether your peer group also in Canada getting hands and taking this forward, the climate or disaster, climate related issues and the green development issues?
So that's a really important question, because eventually, if there's no opportunities, we wouldn't be able to get very far just on our own, and those opportunities are necessary. I will say I'm amazed at the level in which member of parliaments and parliamentary representatives in general. I'm amazed by how cooperative they are with youth and environmental activists. When I started doing even smaller park cleanups and street cleanups, where we would go around and collect litter and clean up parks, my local member of parliaments were attending them, and they were also helping out. And that's I would say that's really motivating, because to see someone who has been through so much and who is dealing with so much actually help out in an initiative with you, it's really motivating to see, and it feels like you are making a difference, because if this person is helping you out, and being someone who is obviously much older than me, and who has who's basically choosing a lot of what's going on in our community, and they're helping out our initiatives, it's really motivating.
Both of them, both of you, Subhasmita and you, like when you get recognition, it puts extra pressure on you for performance, taking the agenda forward of climate change, or you feel comfortable?
I
or you have more
wouldn't say,
responsibility?
well, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say it puts any overdone pressure. I would change the word pressure with motivation, because it's not like I was pressured into working and doing park cleanups. No one was pressuring me or anything. It's just something that I decided to do, and the award kind of just reminds me of it reminds me, and it forces me to think about what I'm doing, and that motivates me more to think about why I'm doing this, and more to think about the cause and what I'll hopefully accomplish if I work towards it. And yeah, basically, I would say that it's really nice that these awards are recognizing what you're doing, because that really motivates you. It gives you the sense that you are making a difference. Because if no one notices what you're doing, then you wouldn't really get that sense that I actually did something. And I feel like awards gives that sense to anyone who's receiving them.
Oh, very, very nice, very good response you have given for the children who are listening to you, and parents also, they should be speaking. The question which I asked to Smita, the same question to you. Do you get support from the local administration for your work and the local societal support? They listen to your voice or concern? Aryan.
Oh, I'm sorry. So like I said, yes, it's a big yes, because I'm surprised by how involved they are and how much they support you. Because they're really supportive, and they're involved. It's not like they're just saying, oh, good job or something. They're actually listening to what I'm saying. They're recognizing what I'm doing, and they're actually offering me feedback on how I can improve it. They're offering me support, and they're connecting me with other people who can help me even more. So I would say it's a big yes, because local administration has grown a lot over the past years. And it's great that they're finally recognizing that a youth in their community can make a much bigger difference than they had prior thought.
Thank you. A lot of appreciation for both of you in the chat box. Participants are writing good things. Both of you.
सुनीता जी मैडम कुछ बोलना चाह रही थी, ऐड करना चाह रही थी। सुनीता रेड्डी।
Yes, please. Sunita Reddy is at Nehru University, Delhi. She wants to say something on. She has some question or response. Sunita ji, directly you can to the.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Santosh Kumar. I won't take more than 2 minutes. I'm really glad that NIDM brought this workshop and a webinar on such an important topic. And I'm so glad to hear both Aryan and Subhashmita. Their voices are really from the heart, and their experiences. And I'm so glad to see that today's children are so clear about their mind, and they speak out from heart and call spade a spade. Unlike many of us who are from the previous generation, we are more diplomatic and very formal. I think it's very important to listen to our children, because as young as even 3 to 5 year old children have their own voice, and we tend to ignore because we think that children are children. And Indian parenting is such that even a 50-year-old person, for parents, they are still children. So I think we really have to focus on children, their voices, and take it forward. I just have two suggestions. One, because unless adults take the interest and take their words and suggestions seriously, we can't go a long way. And children can be made aware of some processes. Like in India, we are not really encouraging children to go to police station or even to hospitals unless it's necessary. Schools can take the initiatives to take the children for a trip to police station, trip to a health center, so that they know where to go, where to register their complaints, and what is the whole process of raising their voices, giving complaints or grievances. So I think we should formulate that into the school system so that everybody is aware of their rights and where exactly to go for complaining. Secondly, I'm really glad that to hear Urvashi Chandraji from UNICEF for such an encouraging and motivating words. I think with the help of UNICEF and the state UNICEF and NIDM, really we can do a lot of work, because of late we are hearing a lot of kidnapping cases. Today morning also I had another chat with ex DU student who works in one of the remote areas in Orissa. And there also, there are a lot of reporting of missing children, which I also raised in the previous session about Delhi having highest missing children. And unfortunately, many of these children are being kidnapped for organ trafficking, organ donation. I mean, there's a book called Red Market, which talks about organ donations and how, in order to have the organs, so young children of 3 to say 10 years old children are kidnapped, especially from the poor families, because then their words are not heard, and there's a whole nexus of everyone involved, so then their voices doesn't come out. So it's a big problem which an individual cannot handle it. So there has to be a systematic way of curbing this kind of organized crime, which I was talking about. And I think we, as institutions which are working for children, child rights, child protection, we definitely have to come together and definitely with the association of UNICEF, NIDM, and especially the Special Center for Children. If we go for more anthropological action research, I think things can improve. And I'm to be part of any collaborative effort from on behalf of JNU and even from Anthropos India Foundation. So Santoshji and Urvashiji, whenever you wish to have any work together, I'm very glad. I'll be very glad to be part of it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita ji, for giving this insight and appreciating the initiative. Urvashi ji, would you like to say something, or we can request any person from the audience they wish to ask any question or intervene at this point of time? They can think about their question, and in the meanwhile, I will request Urvashi ji to speak and give her comments on that, what children have said. Then after that, again, we will have one round of discussion with these two children.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sunita. I mean, we'd be happy to look into how we can work together in partnership. Other than that, what you had mentioned, Professor Santosh Kumar, the issue of how the district administration, whether they take the voices of children into consideration, especially in the context of, I think in countries which are more advanced like Canada, maybe it has been easier. But maybe in India, again, India being such a large country, it varies from state to state. So while some states, like if you look at Kerala or maybe the other southern states or even Odisha, as I understand, they seem to be more open. Somebody needs to mute. Yes. But if we take the case of UP, for instance, it's happening, but it's still slow because we have been working very closely with the government. And one of the issues that we have been pushing for as UNICEF is accountability to affected population. That is exactly what this issue is, that it's important to hear the voices of those who are affected. And those voices need to be acted upon. So here, I think what I've observed in UP, having worked here for some years now, that it varies from district magistrate to district magistrate. It is person driven as of now, but slowly we have to kind of institutionalize it. And probably that will happen if at the state level, and first at the national and then at the state level, we can push for more child-centric policies where children participate in developing those, in contributing to those policies. And then maybe the government gives more and more, they hear the voices of children in a more systematic way. So, I mean, I am, of course, with Aryan because he is in Canada, and it has been very impressive to hear that there the advocates, I mean, the politicians as well as the government is pretty much involved. And
when
so
the Prime Minister called him.
Yes, absolutely. So that is something which we have to probably look at how we can also push in our own country, because I'm sure our Prime Minister also may be quite open to listen. But probably we need to strengthen those platforms a little more and bring out the voices of children. And here I think organizations like ours, UNICEF, can play a more advocacy role with the government, and also the other organizations like Save the Children, they have been working very much with children on ground. And here we can have a stronger partnership with the interagency group as well as government, and then your organization like NIDM, academic institutions like JNU, and then build a kind of a platform like SPDRR is for the larger DRR, state platform for DRR. Maybe a child focused platform which we need for DRR, which I think you are thinking of, Santosh Kumarji. I think that's what you suggested. You said that you are planning to have this kind of a platform. But I mean, what will be important to hear from Aryan at some point of time is also because he is from a more advanced country. That how did he kind of get even the politicians to hear his voice? In the sense, because he started very young. So there must have been some enablers. What were those enablers which we can learn from those countries?
Aryan, you have to respond to this question.
I mean, at that point, there isn't, there isn't much that you can use besides plain evidence. I mean, you can put the facts in front of them and you can explain them from your point of view. You can tell them that we don't have very long, and I have an idea, and you can explain the idea to them. You can explain the benefits, and you can convince them. And the main point is to be as convincing as you possibly can, because no matter who you are, plain facts are plain facts, and they must listen to them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
Actually, also another thing is that like you said, you must create a platform, and that doesn't mean that it has to be a platform with multiple organizations and multiple powerful leaders. I mean a platform. And when I first started out, I started out very small by myself, but when I worked my way up, I started including all of my friends. And now when I do a park cleanup, I have over 30 people attending. And you can imagine that when I speak to my local political leader and I discuss an idea with him, he keeps in mind that it's not just me speaking, but it's also 30 other kids who who share the same opinion as me.
Yeah, Santosh Kumarji, if I can suggest that NIDM can probably lead, if we can also capture some of these good practices even from within India. I'm sure there must be very many examples where they have tried to influence the government or had their voices heard. And then we could, I mean, we'd be happy to see how we can also support you in this. And then we can look at academic institutions also, how they can play a role like JNU.
yeah, I would just say maybe Aryan and Subhasmita can bear me up. We're saying, and you can also mention. As Aryan said, that we don't require much of the multi kind of groups to influence or discuss with or influence the local leader. It's evidence and the good work. That is very, very important. So that kind of a thing which CCDRR and our partners can build those stories, which we can say that this is a very good story to be shared amongst the larger audience. And that to be taken up. But I see that very in India, very segregated or desegregated approach have been taken, where scattered is very, very scattered kind of a thing. Maybe Save the Children, UNICEF, and Cry, and these organizations, they are working and putting them together. But when it comes to the climate risk and also that disaster risk or SDG, the challenges of children, we may say that as a kind of, it's not the children issues at all. This is a kind of a investment for future generations and for the country. As Aryan said, he's in opening remark also that save the world and save the planet for the future. So we can take those kind of narratives where we can think of joining hands together with these children. They are motivating, but we do not allow. And what Sunita also said, that we always consider that children are just children. They can't have that much of clarity of thought about the situations or the contemporary issues. So after listening to these two children, we find that they are much more clearer than what we think of. So we need to break our perception as well, that how you are working already with children, you must be seeing that how they are taking it up. But now what see that I'll just make one point here. They are not emerging and working at the local level, they are also globally recognized. So what we see that the concept, recognition of not the individual, but also that the narratives which they are following, that is much more important, that how to make this small initiatives also in the neighborhood, that is being recognized and taken to the highest level. Would you like to say something, Mr. Pati, can help Sumitra to mention anything at this? She has listened to all these discussion. Would you like to say something here?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
5 minutes, yeah.
जी सेतेबेले समस्त शिशु मानकर विपर्य बा समस्या अधिक बढ़ी बारे लागुछि.
The protection issues are getting, they get elevated, can spike after a disaster for children.
जथा शिशु मानकर ट्रैफिकिंग, अब्यूज एवं श्रमिक विभिन्न असुविधा से मानकर ठारे देखा जाय थाए.
Child trafficking issues like child trafficking, child abuse, and child labor issues. After a disaster, all these things get very prominent.
जति बा NIDM एवं आम चाइल्ड चैंपियन समस्त साथी माने जदि सब शिशु मानक सहित जड़ित होई परिबे तबे मो विश्वास जे शिशु माने समस्त शिशु मानकर समस्या को दूरीभूत करिवार कार्य को बहुत स्ट्रांगली करि परिबे.
NIDM and all the child champions, if they can come together and work together, then we can able to contribute towards solving many issues.
Thank you. Very good point you have brought, Subhasmita. You want to say something more? आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं और?
प्राकृतिक विपर्य समस्त खाद्यहीन हो जाती जहाँ फल से माने होई माइग्रेंट कार्य करबा पई बाहर को चली जाती.
So the food scarcity we created by a big disaster, food scarcity, that induce child labor, children migrating as skilled laborers.
तो सेति पई समस्त पदक्षेप एवं NIDM जदि हमकु जड़ित करिबो त निश्चय मो मतरे मो भी चाहूची जे NIDM जड़ित होई शिशु मानकर एवं सेमान सुरक्षा प्रति कार्य को करिबो.
I am ready to work with NIDM to take these issues, work on protection issues for children.
थैंक यू सो मच. बहुत अच्छी बात आपने कही, बहुत इंस्पिरेशन मिला है हमारे चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक डिजास्टर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट को. आपने जिस तरह से एक चिल्ड्रन और बच्चों की इश्यूज, मैं आपको बताऊं टू फॉर एवरीवन आल्सो काइंड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस व्हिच वी हैड इन नेपाल में वी वेंट देयर आफ्टर द पोस्ट अर्थक्वेक and there one adolescent girl of say 14 years of she just started mensurating and she was referring to the earthquake time and she visited different places. She lost her parents and she was all alone, and instead of getting help she was exploited by different people where she went, and she said she was showing the wound to us in the public meeting, and that was very kind of a disturbing to note. So what I see that at times even in the distress situation the people or the adult or what we say we are not that kind of apathy. We don't bring compassion, we don't bring those kind of things to our future generation. And that leads to the establishment which I was there and I listened to that. I thought that children must be empowered and policymakers must get some lessons out of it. And that led to the establishment of child-centric DRR, and I'm grateful to UNICEF that they supported this initiative, and also our government that they immediately approved this proposal and said that this is very, very important. And you said very rightly that Honorable Prime Minister also is very keen and willing to address this issue of children. And one of the agendas which he has given in the 10-point agenda for the disaster risk management, youth and the women and the children group to be strengthened and empowered. So here we get this strength after listening to these two presentations. Yesterday, I could also listen to, I was mentioning that presentation from young children from Korea, from Indonesia, and from India. And today I'm listening to one from Canada and from India again, from the Kendrapara district. This actually give us the suggestion which you are offering to that all these champions, your child champions, can get together and can help each other in terms of bringing those. Suppose you are talking about vulnerability of women that might not be there in Canada, but if that is there, that could be possible. But what is the lessons learned? What Aryan is doing, something that can be done here. I saw that in school, that Indonesian, the boy who was making presentation, he, for a school safety program, he brought a very good change in the practices of the school safety. So these are the experiences which are very, very important. Aryan, would you like to say something as a final point from your side before we close at this point of time? And would you like, if NIDM bothers you again, for maybe a couple of presentations in some different webinars or some other activities? What is your time availability and your take on this?
Absolutely, that would be amazing. This was a really good experience and a really good opportunity for me, and I really thank you. And of course, I would love to do many more of them. Time availability, I really don't mind. It's 2:30 over here right now, and I don't.
Here in Canada, but you are still awake and you are helping us to in this moving on the session and the webinar. I'm really grateful to you for your support at this odd hours of time of yours.
Thank you so much. And actually, you were asking if I had kind of a final little note, and I did. It's that it's not like it's just us youth and it's just adults. There's a lot of different communities out there which we don't think of when we think of just youth or just adults. And I would like to say that when we're building a network of youth leaders around the world, it shouldn't be just youth. It should also be other vulnerable communities who are also important to our cause, and because they can also offer a lot, they can offer a different perspective. And to give you just a small example of this, I was speaking a lot in my presentation about indigenous communities, and they're very environmental because they're the people who were taking care of our land before um, before a lot of people took over and colonization began. And they're fully environmentally friendly, and they would like everyone else to be environmentally friendly. And in my involvement with them, I've really earned a lot of perspective. I really gained a lot of support from them, and I would really just like to say that in any initiatives or projects, it's important to include not just youth, not just adults, but vulnerable communities, and basically any communities possible, because the more the perspectives there are, um, the more safe and the more efficient your project will be. You're muted, actually.
You're still muted.
You're still muted.
Could you hear me? Yeah, so wonderful punchline you have given. This just not confined to the youth and the adults or the children, but also the peer group and the indigenous community example you have given. Any vulnerable communities that could be, they need help and they require to be moved from there, and that support would also build. So Basmita, would you like to say a final word from your side? So Basmita, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं एक अपनी तरफ से? अंतिम शब्द कुछ कहना चाहते हैं अभी आज के लिए? बताइए।
जदि बा लोक मानक ठारू शिशु मानक सपोर्ट मिल परिबा बा नॉलेज मिल तबे शिशु माने ଶିକ୍ଷା କରିଥାନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ଟିକେ ଜ୍ଞାନ ଆହରଣ କରିଥାନ୍ତି ଗାଁ ଲୋକ ତାଙ୍କର ଦେବେ ତେବେ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ଶିଶୁମାନେ
we can get traditional knowledge, reach traditional knowledge from local community, and also if the community people, they help the children, they are working as child cabinet members and contributing in some other. So in that way, the children are motivated and they can.
Thank you so much. बात की कि आप भविष्य में भी जुड़ा रहना चाहते हैं ऐसे और इसको मदद करेंगे, आप उसके लिए तहे दिल से आपका शुक्रिया अदा कर रहा हूँ. Thank you so much for being with us.
Actually, if you wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't mind, I just I'm sorry, I know I have a lot of thoughts, but I just I was just saying that another thought I had was of social media. A lot of what we're talking about is how can we impact globally, and the answer to that is social media, because nowadays I would say a lot of the world's population has social media. That's how they communicate with each other. That's how they get to know people across across countries. That's how they get to know people across the world. That's how they know what's happening in the world. And if we were to project what we're doing and what we want to do, what we should be doing across social media, then that would really make a big impact across the world. And that would be one of the most efficient, one of the biggest, and one of the most impacting ways to get our message across.
Thank you very much. And we are also, it's a live telecast on YouTube also, which is going on the current webinar. So we are using this, and definitely you said that we should capitalize the social media as well. Thank you very much, Urvashi ji, if you want to say something as a last line, and also I will request Sunita ji, since she has joined, anything you wish to say here at this moment?
Thank you, and I think it has been very inspiring. I've been happy that though I in at the last minute, though Sarabjit was supposed to be originally here, but I'm really happy that I could join this because it's very inspiring to hear from these young leaders. And I will just say that continue doing all this great work, and as adults and as and especially since I'm in UNICEF, we would like to support these young leaders and ensure that your voices are heard, and we ensure that the world is a better place to live in, and we don't end up ensure that you all have a better place to live in and much improved place to live in. Thank you.
Sunita ji, would you like to say something?
Dr. Santosh ji, as we have heard such wonderful points from both the young children, we should not be disappointing them as adults. We all have to work together, and very important, as you had raised, that we all have small strengths, and there's so many institutions which are working for children, but coming together will definitely make a big impact. And as Aryan said, that social media is very powerful, and I'm sure we all can use social media and do our best for the bright future of children. Thank you.
Thank you very much from my side. It's a very, very powerful webinar, which I can say that, and we are trying to ensure these two children who are there attending this workshop, webinar, and addressing that we have not given a good place to live to the future generation. So our challenge is much, responsibility is even much higher. How we are helping the future generation who are actually eager to make this world as a safer place, and how as our responsibility as an adult to support those initiatives. So it's a wonderful, I would extend my heartfelt thanks to Aryan and also his parents, though must be supporting because it's 2 o'clock or in this journey, and also 2 o'clock he's making a webinar for us. So thanks to you and your parents and your good work. And it has a long way to go, and many more would learn a lot of lessons what you have been doing. We also draw a kind of a large number of lessons today. It has motivated us to do even much harder and much better way in what we have been doing it. सुबस्मिता, आपको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपके पिताजी को, आपके माताजी को और आपके पीयर ग्रुप को जो आपको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं इस इनिशिएटिव में। आपने बहुत सुंदर कार्य किया है और आपके कार्य से बहुत लोगों की जिंदगी बदल रही है। इस तरह के परिवर्तन जो दूसरे के जीवन में परिवर्तन ला सकने की जो क्षमता आप लोग रखते हैं, ये बहुत अच्छी बात है। ये एडल्ट्स को भी सीखने की बात है कि किस तरह से वो कंपैशन और लव हमारे इसमें भी आए, कि हम अपने बियॉन्ड जाएं, हम अपने बाहर जाएं और देखें कि किस तरह से जो आप दोनों ने कहा, आर्यन ने भी कहा, आपने भी कहा, तो ये हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छी बात है कि और यंग जनरेशन्स की जो क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट है उसमें हमें इम्बाइब करना चाहिए, एमुलेट करना चाहिए, एंड दे शुड बी गिवन प्रॉपर स्पेस। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच, आपको भी, आपके पिताजी को भी। And Urvashi ji, UNICEF has been always a support to us. We extend our heartfelt thanks to you and UNICEF from all this, from the behalf of child-centered DRR. You have been always been very supportive and bringing all those points that committing for actually thinking differently. This particular webinar has actually forced us to think differently, even if we are addressing the child-related issues in terms of our own work profile. And I'm grateful to these two children who have also committed to support child-centric DRR in future also, and their time and whenever we require. Sunita ji, thank you very much for yours, to you also, and Urvashi ji, to you also, for this grand support. And I extend my thanks to Mr. Ranjan Kumar, our team, who is maneuvering this entire, managing this whole program. Dr. Aryan and Mr. Balu, who is not here, but they are behind the support. And I'm grateful to all of you once again. And I say have a great time ahead, and we wish you very, very Merry Christmas. Christmas is heading towards. Have a safe Christmas. COVID is there, so be careful about that. And take personal care of yourself and also to your parents and to your peer group. Thank you very much to everyone. Ranjan, if you want to say something, after.
एक्चुअली मैम एक चीज हम बोलना चाहते थे कि हमने कवर किया, साउथ एशिया में बहुत सारे ऐसे एग्जाम्पल जिसको कि हमको इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे लाना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि साउथ एशिया जो है ज्यादा इफेक्टेड है इस तरह के बहुत सारे चिल्ड्रन, हर रीजन का अलग अलग अपना इशूज है, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए वो और भी कोलैबोरेटिव वर्क करते हैं। साउथ एशिया को जो कि काफी वल्नरेबल माना गया है डिजास्टर से रिलेटेड या क्लाइमेट से, स्पेशली बांग्लादेश जो इसमें बहुत अच्छा काम किया है कम्युनिटी में डिजास्टर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट। तो इस तरह से उनको एक प्लेटफॉर्म हम लोग देकर उनको इस तरह का प्लेटफॉर्म दे सकेंगे जिससे कि उनको भी ऐड किया जाए इस तरह की एक्टिविटी में।
Thank you very much to all of you. Now we can have a close this webinar today. And आपका दिन बहुत अच्छा हो और आर्यन आपकी नींद अच्छी आए, क्योंकि आपको मैं बहुत जगा के रखा हूँ। So have a very good sleep. Bye bye to all. Interact personally also on a way. Thank you very much for being with us.
Bye.
Bye bye.
I thank you participants.
Thank you, and all the participants. Yes, of course, participants are there, and they have motivated also us by asking questions and making their comments. I am grateful to all the distinguished participants who have joined this meeting and motivated and given very good comments on the webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Prajapati ji.